How's everybody doing today? This next little video goes over a program. It's the Kelley Blue Book Value program, and it kind of simulates in a very simplistic way the Kelley Blue Book value of a car. If you go on the internet to the Kelley Blue Book Value site and you look at any car and how old it is and what kind of shape it's in, they will give you an estimated number as to what it is worth. So this little program is much more simplistic than that, but it does kind of do a similar type thing. I just wanted to go over what it's supposed to do, and then we'll actually look at the code, a working version of the code, and then we'll see how we can make it do this. What it's supposed to do, the user can select a year, and then the user can select a make. Once the user selects a make, it should populate the model list box with all those particular models. For example, if they select BMW, it should populate the model list box with the Z3, the Z4, the Z8, the M6, and the CSI. If they select Jaguar, I have 4 different Jaguars, so it should populate the model list box with those. You might think back to the last video and think, well, alright, how do I add stuff to a list box once the program's running? And it was the name of the list box .items.add. How can I tell which one of these was selected? Well, I might be able to use the selected index function. So basically whatever make they click on, it should populate the model list box with the correct cars, and then it should actually value the car. Now for my car value, I'm just taking $1,000 off for each year old it is. So if I have a car that started out, the Z3, like it was $26,000, and the car is 6 years old now, then it's worth $20,000. Let's take a look at the actual code that will do this. Let me actually run this for you and show you what it does, and then we'll talk about how it does it. So here it is, it comes up. Now remember, the user selects BMW, it's supposed to populate the model list box with all the BMWs, Jaguar, all the Jaguars, Porsche, all the Porsches. In addition to that, if I select BMW, I get all my BMWs, and then I say select my, let's see, I select my year, I select BMW, I select Z3, it says 26,000. Again, that's if the car is brand new, 2015. If I select 2014 and I select the Z3 again, it says, oh, that's worth 25,000. 2013, it's worth 24,000, etc. So that's what the whole thing's supposed to do. Let's take a look at how it does it. First off, let's take a look at the code behind this list box. You notice this is the make list box, and it's got an event selected index change, so it means when somebody selects a different index. And I just have 3 different if statements. If lstMake.selected index equals 0, well, again, what do I know if the selected index equals 0? I know they must have selected BMW. So I want to add all the BMWs. How do I do it? Items.add, just like we talked about in the last video. Notice first off though, I do clear the list box because I don't want to add the BMWs on top of the Jaguars, on top of the Porsches. I want to make sure I clear first and then add all the appropriate cars. I've got if lstMake.selected index equals 1, well, then I know they must have selected Jaguars, so I add all the Jaguars. And again, the same thing for the Porsches if the selected index equals 2. Now, got to go to the next part of it. The next thing I have to do, once they select a make, get the appropriate cars for the model, when they click on a model, I have to determine the price of that car. Now, I know from the directions what the price is, but I've got to get that into a variable. So, let's take a look at it. I've got if lstModels.selected item equals Z3 26,000, then DBL original car price equals 26,000. So I'm saying, hey, if they selected the Z3, it's 26,000. If they selected the Z4, it was 8,000, and so on. Now, I got a question for you. In this case, I used selected item. I didn't use selected index like I did up here. And the reason is, in the make list box, I always know BMW is going to be 0, Jaguar is going to be 1, and Porsche is going to be 2. But in the model list box, I don't know. If they select BMW, they're going to get a bunch of BMWs. If they select Jaguar, they're going to get a bunch of Jaguars. So I can't rely on the selected index. I can't say, well, if the selected index is 2, then it's the Jaguar XKE. That doesn't work because what is in the model list box changes every time somebody makes a different selection over here. So instead of utilizing the selected index, I had to use the selected item. Remember, the index returns the number. The item is the actual text value. So, based on which one they selected, I put a car price. The only other thing I had to do was I had to figure out a way to subtract the number of years old the car is from the car price. There's a lot of ways to do this. I came up with what I thought was a relatively interesting way. I've got the original car price, and then I subtract $1,000 times 15 minus the LST year selected index. Now let's talk about that a little and see why it actually works. LST year dot selected index, if I go back here, here's my LST year list box, my selected index. So for 2015, my selected index is going to be 15. For 2014, my selected index is going to be 14. For 13, it's going to be 13, etc. So again, if I look at the code here, I took 15 minus the selected index. So if, for example, it's 2010, the selected index is going to be 10, so I got 15 minus 10. It's going to be a 5-year-old car times 1,000, and that's what gives me the 5,000 subtracted from the original price. So kind of an interesting way to do it. And then I just took the price and I displayed it into a list box. Now your homework's going to be a little bit different than this, but you can still utilize a lot of the same functions. I want to talk about your homework just a little bit, and then we'll pretty much conclude. Alright, your homework is the MyTunes program. So you have to create this form. You've got a bands list box, you've got a CD list box, and you've got a shopping cart. So what you need to do is, you can come up with your own bands and your own CDs. I just use some of my favorite bands and CDs. But what you're going to need to do is, a little bit similar to the Kelley Blue Book value, when the user selects a particular band, it should populate the CD list box with that group of CDs which are applicable to that band. So when they click on the Dropkick Murphys, it should give me all the Dropkick Murphy CDs. The other thing it's supposed to do is when I hit Calculate Total, it should add up all the CDs that you bought. And they don't all have to be from the same band. I could, for example, hit Eagles, pick 2 CDs from Eagles, and then hit Dropkick Murphys and do a CD from Dropkick Murphys, and then hit Calculate Total Sale, and it should add up all of those. So you're going to be using some of the same functionality that we did in the Kelley Blue Book value. Obviously, to get the CD listings in here, you're probably going to use items.add. One thing that I just wanted to give you a hint about, as you put each CD in here, you can do a running total of the cost of the CD. So for example, let's say they pick Blackout, which is $13.95. You can have a running total such as, DBL running total equals DBL running total plus $13.95. If they put in Do or Die, it's DBL running total equals DBL running total plus $11.99. So it's a lot easier to keep track of the running total as you put the CDs in the shopping cart than it is to add them up at the end. You can add them up at the end, but it's just the code itself is a little bit harder. So anyhow, hopefully this whole series was helpful. You got the lecture notes, you got 2 videos, you got a homework assignment, so good luck with it. We'll see you next time.